Hey guys, welcome to Light Pace Way. I hope that you're all doing well. I'm going to get you a reading, see what comes through. I'll take what resonates and leave the rest. There's no gender in tarot, as we all hold masculine and feminine energies. So flip the roles if you need to. Okay. Just had Aquarius come out. So you may be detaching from something. You may be wanting to be, really stepping into that independence. Okay, we have the 9th house here. This is all about philosophy, your purpose. This is about your higher mind, your spiritual mind. This is all about long journeys also. Your spiritual values, travel, and what is to be shared, what you can share with others. It's also about the law, religion. Okay. Let's see. Okay. There's some change about to happen. This is gonna take some courage. Whether you finally plucked up that courage, to leave somewhere, to go traveling. Okay. This is a spiritual journey. Some of you are deciding to make that change. You've already traveled through the 8th house, and that's the, transformation. You've realized, something has ended, and, you're deciding to travel north. Some of you, you're on a spiritual journey. Some of you could be changing your mindset regarding, religion, spirituality, realizing that the past should stay in the past, and the only way forward is for you to move forward, for you to change. It's like you're regenerating. Yeah, you're releasing the past. For some, this could be a very emotional time for you. Letting go, really purging, letting those emotions flow, and surrendering. Just letting it go, letting the life flow, allowing the universe just to take you where it is you're supposed to be. Letting go of control. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, some of you've realized that you've been in your comfort zone for far too long. And it's kept you stuck. Realizing that, sometimes for change to happen, for you to move forward, you have to become uncomfortable. One more, please. Okay. Yeah, for some of you, you're realizing that, there's been a lot of in the past and where it is that you are now. You're realizing, you know, there was a lot of confusion. We have Neptune here. A lot of confusion, a lot of illusions. For some of you, you was wearing rose-tinted glasses. You're realizing that, you know, whatever it was you built in the past or wherever you are now and whatever you're leaving, it wasn't built on a firm foundation. And that's why, you know, there's possibly conflicts, things didn't progress how you wanted it to, and you're deciding that things have to change. Now, whether that's your environment or, you know, your mindset, your beliefs, and how you go about doing things, that has to change for you to build something on a solid foundation so that the structure is secure. Okay, let's get some tarot on this. Yeah, this is, you know, we've got contracts, career, commitments. So, you know, and we have Saturn as well. Something isn't working, you know. You're realizing that the contracts that you've signed aren't worth the paper that they're written on. Some of you, you're changing careers because, you know, it's not that career that you're in or that career business that you've built. It doesn't serve you. It isn't helping you or others for the highest good of all. And some of you, you're leaving commitments behind. You've outgrown these commitments. Yeah, you're having a rebirth. You're transforming. Some of you could be, you know, I'm getting traveling quite long distance. You could be relocating. For some of you, you know, this journey that you're going on, you know, you're realizing that the path that you've been on, you know, you've been on it for far too long, and wherever it is that you're planning to be with self, you know, that also, to get wherever that is, that also may be a long journey, but, you know, you're realizing it's worth the effort. You're making that change. Okay, yeah, you've something has ignited within you here with the Ace of Wands, the Four of Swords as well. Okay, with the Four of Swords, that's I'm getting for some that you've been contemplating on this for quite some time, but you've never really taken the action. But you're really deciding to pour that self-love into yourself, you know. With the Ace of Wands, you've got this new spark for life, and you're manifesting something new. something has sparked your inspiration, which is allowing this change, this transformation to take place. And you're really manifesting, you know, something better for yourself here. Some of you could be really feeling the urge to create at this time. Just give me a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're finding the courage, you're finding the strength and the willpower to move forward. You know, you've got this nudge. It's the divine is, you know, guiding you to make these changes. You're really feeling the pull. Yeah. Page of Wands reversed. Yeah, something in the past, whatever it is that you're leaving behind, there's been some sort of disappointment here. Something has left you feeling disappointed, you know. There may have been, but for some, this is you, you know, realizing that you've delayed this change for far too long. We have Libra energy as well as fire here. Yeah, the High Priestess. You're following your intuition. You're being led by the divine. The divine is leading you. Some of you, you know, you're really stepping into, you know, spirituality a lot more. You could be leaving some, you know, religious beliefs behind, you know, those beliefs that are just kept in a box, that keep you, you know, suppressed in, just keeps you suppressed in a box, really. You know, it's very closed-minded, and you really, you know, you want to know more. You have this it's like you have this urge, this calling to, you know, you want to know more. You just feel like where it is that you're at, the place that you're, you know, leaving, it no longer fulfills you. You're trusting yourself, you're trusting where you're being guided to. You're allowing, you know, the universe to guide you here. For some of you, you know, once you really start, you know, to make these changes, there isn't going to be any stopping you. Yeah, because at the moment, you know, you don't feel stable. You know, there's a lot of imbalance here. It's a lot of chaos. And you just feel, you know, whether it's work, commitments, or even your own beliefs, it's very chaotic. And you just feel like your life is out of control, sticking with these same belief systems. You know, you're really striving to learn more. Yeah. 9 of Swords. So we have with the High Priestess, that's moon energy, and the 9 of Swords, that's Gemini. So the 9 of Swords reversed here. You may have felt anxious about making these changes. It's something that, you know, you've pondered on this for quite some time. But because of the way your friends, family, society sees things, you've always been anxious about stepping forward, making these changes. You know, some of you could have been a little bit nervous of how you would have been perceived by others. But you're letting that go now. And, you know, you're making that change. You're realizing there's nothing to worry about. Everybody is different, and that is okay. Yeah, temperance. It was literally in reverse a minute ago. By making this change, by letting go, you're bringing your life back into balance. This is beautiful. You know, you're accepting you for who you are. You're accepting the situation for what it is, you know. You're only focusing on what you control, what you can control, you know. If you can't control it, then, you know, you're just letting it be what it is. And you're being patient with yourself as, you know, as you go through this journey, as you bring your life back into balance. Anything else? Yeah, you may have others, you know, you may have others behind you trying to hold you back. You know, but you're not allowing it. You're no longer allowing, you know, self-doubt to creep in. You're just allowing the universe to guide you. Queen of Pentacles, because you know who you are. You know that you're grounded. And, you know, by staying in this energy, being grounded, being generous, being loving and supporting, you know, it's going to get you ahead. Some of you, yeah, it's like you're learning, you've really, you know, whether some of you have, or you're already doing it, but others of you, you're really learning how to integrate the masculine and the feminine, and, you know, bringing them together, integrating them together. I've got both ears ringing at the same time at the moment. Yeah, you're really, you know, healing the masculine and feminine sides and integrating them together. Wow, that's way too many. Okay. Yeah. Ace of Swords. Reversed. We have Sagittarius as well as air here with the Ace of Swords reversed, you know. There may have been okay in the past, you know, there has been some creative blocks here. There's been some miscommunication, a lack of clarity, but all that is coming back into balance. You know, some of you you realize it. For some, you may have realized because you was in this, you know, this mindset of, you know, it's like, it's giving closed-minded, not in a, I'm not saying that in a bad way, so please don't take it as if I'm being mean, but stepping out of the box, being more open-minded, you're realizing, you know, where you went wrong. You're seeing things for what it is. You're no longer confused. It's like you're taking the blindfold off, and, you know, having that lack of clarity, being closed-minded in a way, it's really, it blocked your creativity. And now the blindfold has come off. You have, you know, you're letting go of control. You're being more open-minded. You're seeing that creative spark come back. Anything else? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. King of Cups with Death. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Some of you may have been quite logical in the past. You're stepping more into your emotional body and wearing your emotions on your sleeve, being more compassionate, you know, with others as well as yourself, you know. And you really, with Death here, you're really transforming, you know, going through that rebirth and that transformation. You are really allowing the divine to guide you here. It's you've let go of all control. You're no longer resisting change. Really embracing that love, that creativity, that balance. Realizing that only love and compassion and understanding can truly bring you the happiness and peace that you seek. One more, please. Okay. Yeah. Seven of Swords with the Page of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah. In the past, with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, you're realizing that, you know, being in the energy of the past, or, you know, this energy that you're changing, it's been keeping you stuck. With the Page of Pentacles here and the Seven of Swords, you're really learning, really expanding your mind. And with the Seven of Swords, some of you, you're realizing where you was deceiving yourself. Really, yeah. It's like your whole attitude is changing with the Seven of Swords and the Page of Pentacles here. And for some, you're realizing with this change and all this release, it's you're really stepping into your truth, because you're realizing that your integrity and sacred space is paramount. There could have been, you know, for some, this change is because some of you're realizing that, you know, people have been deceptive, they haven't been truthful around you, and that is also causing this change. But this is a huge transformation that you know you're going through, and it's absolutely beautiful. And a lot of you, some of you will be just at the beginning of this journey, others you're already, you know, going through it. But that energy of, you know, just allowing the universe to guide you, letting go letting go of the need to control, is really bringing everything back into balance. I'm going to leave this here, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.